So now that we've got our structure in place, let's start with the style sheet. But before we move on, let's just change this nasty untitled document title to something more relevant. So 3 state CSS tabs navigation, for instance. Okay, so let's go to styles, CSS styles panel, fresh, create a new one. We're going to choose compound from a drop-down menu, and we want this to be a new style sheet file. And for the selector, we're simply gonna use wild character and click on OK. Now where we want to save it, let's create a new folder inside of our root directory and call it styles, and give it a name, the name for the file, let's give it a core.css. Okay, what we need for now is just margin padding to 0. Okay, now that we've got our style sheet created, let's go to it and let's amend it slightly, remove the spaces here. Font family, let's keep it Arial Helvetica. Font size, we want this to be 12 pixels. Then what else? We can use a color, which will be F1, 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 which is very light gray. Outline, we don't want any. Text decoration for all links set to none as well. So this, using wild character, just to explain you a little bit, every single tag will have this settings applied to it. If you want to modify this, if you want any tag actually to have, or any tag, any class, anything, to have, let's say, padding different than it's defined by the wild character here, then obviously you're going to have to create this definition manually. But apart from this, all of the tags are going to have these settings applied. So now, as for the body, we want text align to the center, background color set to black, so 3 zeros, and line height set to 20 pixels. Now, as for the paragraph tag, we want padding bottom to be 14 pixels. As for the A hover, we want the color to be 333. Now, first, our first div was the outer, which is OUT. Okay, so width, we want this div to have set to 100%. Background, we still haven't got any background image, but background color, which we'll be using, will be 686966, and border bottom will be solid 1 pixel, A8, A4, A4. Okay, now that we are working on the author, let's create our first graphic for this project. So let's open Photoshop. Okay, let's move this banner slightly. Okay, let's create a new file. The new file with the dimensions of width just 1 pixel and height, let's make it 100 pixels. Give it a name of BK for background. Yeah. Okay, file is created. Now all we need to do, we open the layers panel. All we need to do is to use the black color to fill the background, create a new layer, change the color to this border, alters border bottom color, which is A8, A4, A4. Use the pencil tool, and with 1 pixel, just create 1 pixel from a bottom with this color. Okay, now we can save it for web. By the way, if you don't know how to save for web, you just go to File, Save for Web and Devices. I'm using the shortcut on the Mac, actually. It's Shift, Alt, Command, and S. On PC, I believe it's just Control, Command, S, or something like that. Now we don't want a JPEG. Let's have a look at the size. 3:1 is JPEG, but we're definitely not going to be using JPEG. Normally in this kind of graphics, GIF comes best actually. So 50 bytes, let's compare this to the PNG. Yeah, 128, so GIF definitely wins this time. We need 128 colors. We might even use less colors. Have a look at the size. It doesn't make any difference, so let's stay with 128. Okay, let's save it. Go to our site. Okay, and let's create a new folder called images and save this file there. Okay, now let's modify our background for the author. Use URL, go to images, point to our new image, click on choose. Now no, repeat. Sorry, wrong. It's going to be repeat X and 0 and 0. So fine, let's remove this gap as well. So we've got auto set up. Now next thing will be our wrapper, WR, and also footer inside FTI. They both will have the same parameters, the same settings. So text align left, width 800 pixels, margin 0, and auto. Top and bottom 0, right and left auto. Okay. Then we can define our pre-header, PH, with a width of 100%, height of 100 pixels. You remember our graphic has 100 pixels height, so obviously this graphic will fill up the whole pre-header. Then position relative, and we will apply the background image. We would apply the background image if we had any kind of logo or something like this, but for the time being we just simply leave it as is. Okay, so that's what we will be creating in this video. In the next video we'll start working on our navigation.